Hello, this is Irina K and welcome back to my channel Astrobabushka. I am a Vedic astrologer and I apply ancient 3000 years old knowledge to modern times. You can find the link to book consultation down in the description. And today I want to take you into the most fragile and dangerous points on the map of Eastern Europe, Transnistria. It's a frozen conflict zone wedged between Moldova and Ukraine. And when we look at the sky patterns for the next year, we see strong signs that this frozen conflict is about to thaw, not peacefully, but through crisis. Now, Transnistria is running Jupiter Mahadasha. On paper, this looks like it should bring protection. Jupiter is placed in the 9th house, the best karmic house, and it rules the 5th house, giving a Thana yoga, beautiful one, a signature for fortune and creativity. Jupiter also links into triple parivartana yoga with the 2nd, 3rd, and 9th houses, tying together resources, neighbors, and ideology. But the picture is not so simple. Jupiter is also ruler of the 2nd house, the primary maraka, connected with open enemies and conflict. It is Karesh, meaning it carries destructive potential, and in the deepest divisional chart, D60, Jupiter is debilitated. Even more, its Ishtabala is very lone, which means the negative side of Jupiter, the side of misplaced alliances and ideological overreach, comes forward stronger than its blessings. So, Transnistria is in the karmic knot. The same planet that could bring prosperity is also the one that invites conflict through foreign relations. And eclipses, those cosmic shadow points, always pull out the shadow side. Let's start with the lunar eclipse, the past lunar eclipse in September 2025. And it was falling exactly on Transnistria's 4th house, cusp, the house of homeland, land, and population. This eclipse is near the fixed star Achernar, the end of the river. Achernar symbolizes transitions, endings, and karmic consequences. So what does it mean when the moon, the people, is eclipsed on the homeland cusp, on this star? It means the very base of Transnistria, its soil, its people's security, its belonging, comes under shadow. Civil unrest, displacement, or pressure over territorial identity becomes unavoidable. Even more, this lunar eclipse forms a square Sambandha to natal Mars in the 7th house. That Mars is extremely loaded. It is Lagnesh, the ruler of the state's identity, and also the ruler of the 6th, the house of conflict and enemies. Placed in the 7th house, it projects outward into open enemies and warfare. So the eclipse is not gentle. It directly locks the homeland into tension with a conflict-like situation possibility. Civilian life and land might get pulled into open conflict, and with Achernar in play, there's a strong undertone for endings. The frozen status quo may no longer hold. Now let's check the solar eclipse. And on September 21st, 2025, there was a solar eclipse not that far from the 11th house cusp. And 11th house is all about alliances, networks, parliaments, and treaties. A solar eclipse here is always a reset of alliances. And the eclipse is in Trikona Sambandha with the same natal Mars in the 7th house. Unlike the square of the lunar eclipse, which showed raw tension, the trine acts like a channel. It empowers Mars, it gives conflict an outlet. So we move from homeland unrest into external realignment, new treaties, new alliances, and hostile partnerships forming around Transnistria. In other words, the lunar eclipse shakes the ground and the solar eclipse rearranges alliances. Here's interesting point. On September 28, 2025, just few days after solar eclipse, Moldova holds its presidential election. If Maya Sandu, the pro-European Union and pro-NATO candidate, returns to power, then the timing is precise. The lunar eclipse destabilizes Transnistria's homeland, and within days, a Moldovan leadership comes in reintegration. The next point of interest for me was Varshaphala, or solar return for Transnistria, and the picture darkens further. The Lagnesh and Mudda rulers of the year is Venus, and it hemmed between functional malefics, showing the nation trapped under siege. It's pressured. They're conjoined with two dangerous Saham, Kali, Saham of destruction, and Santapa, Saham of grief and suffering. And this is not symbolic, it is yet another signature of war and sorrow. Mars is a double maraka in this chart, ruling both 2nd and 7th houses, the houses of loss and death. And when we check the Mahadasha running in October, it's Mars again. So during the solar eclipse in the annual chart, the maraka planet of open conflict is activated. That is a big, huge red flag for me. So let's lay it out clearly. A lunar eclipse in the beginning of September was on the 4th cusp, square Mars. So it means homeland shaking, population insecure. September 28th, Moldova elections, and most likely Sandu victory sets the stage for aggressive policy toward Transnistria. Solar eclipse on 11th cusp, trine Mars. Alliances and treaties reset, military pressure rises, and Mars Mahadasha activates in October 2025. And then, interesting point here. I checked the next series of eclipses. In February 17th, 2026, there will be powerful solar eclipse in Dhanishta nakshatra near, again, 4th cusp of Transnistria chart. And Mars-ruled nakshatra with Mars exalted and Capricorn in 3rd house of neighbors, this looks like culmination. The frozen for years conflict can be unfrozen into open confrontation. So what this means? The message of the stars is consistent. The frozen conflict is not stable under the coming eclipses. The population and homeland are destabilized. Then alliances might realign through military pressure. And with Mars as the central actor, both as Lagnesh and double maraka, the energy is martial and not at all diplomatic. This does not automatically mean a full-scale war, but it does mean that the risk of armed incidents, border clashes, and open confrontation is extremely high between October 2025 and February 2026. So, when we look at Transnistria's chart, we see Jupiter's Mahadasha, a karmic planet caught in a karmic knot. We see eclipses falling exactly on the homeland and alliance houses, both activating natal Mars, the planet of conflict. We see a Varshaphala riddled with malefic hemming and destructive sahams. And we see the Mahadasha of Mars aligning exactly with eclipse window. In mundane astrology, it is rare to see such a clean sequence of triggers. That is why we have to take this seriously. Transnistria is moving into one of the most dangerous periods of its history. Please share this warning to anyone whose life is tied with Transnistria. Thank you for watching, and let me know in the comments how you feel about the situation. Does it look like the frozen conflict is nearing its end? And if so, who do you think will push the first move? See you later in the next video. Bye.